So let's just say this is a bait that I've been throwing forever, and I call it like the cleanup bait. And when I'm throwing the jig, the jig is going to get big bites, but sometimes they're just not going to bite it. So I'm going to go to like a little finesse tube, and this works great here on Havasu, on Mead. Caught some big fish on Lake Mead doing this. It's just a killer. It's a must-have. When they stop biting the jig. A couple things I'm going to do to this. I fished a TV show with Jarrett Edwards Outdoors years ago on Trinity Lake, and we were both throwing tubes, right? Yamamoto tubes, and he was throwing a tube, a Yamamoto Insider head, which it's a tube head. It's just going to slide in there real quick, and it's going to have a different fall. It's going to have a more of a spiral, a wide fall. And I was throwing a ball head, and just a regular standard ball head, jig head, putting it in there, and when it fell, it just came straight down like this. And I no lie, was catching 15-1 over Jared, fishing behind him. So there's little things, like the spotted bass seem like they like a dart head a little bit more. That way when you're dragging it and you pop it, it's going to go to the different direction. Largemouth, smallmouth, to me it seems like they like the ball head more. Like at Mead, if I throw this dart head, I'm going to catch some fish on the tube, but then I go to a ball head, I'm going to catch 5 times more. And it's just little things like that you got to experiment with. Yes, and how I'm going to rig that, I've seen guys that take the tube and, Texas rig, if you're flipping it, it's okay, but they're just going to take it like this and throw the tube, something like that. And I never throw it like that. I want this thing to be as natural as can be. I want to get as many bites as I can. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a scissor, this is a 3.5-inch tube. Take scissors, I'm going to cut a little slot just like that. I don't have it with me, but now something like smelly jelly, the attractant, if you guys know what that is. I'm going to open up the jar, I'm going to dip this jig head inside the smelly jelly, and that's going to make it go in the tube easier, plus you're going to have some scent. So I don't think they recommend licking lead in California, but it's happened. So now this thing is going to be completely hidden, very natural. You're going to slide it on up. This is a finesse way of fishing a tube. This is only a 2-aught hook, so it's really small. Again, light wire, and you slide it on up, you pop it through, now you just tie it on. And just a deadly way to catch fish behind, if you're throwing a jig or, and they're not biting or drop shot, definitely throw the tube. A couple things I like to do with this. Again, this is going to be the same setup. I'm going to throw this nail weight on. It's going to be a medium heavy rod, maybe 8-pound test, 6-pound test at the lightest. I'm going to throw it out there. And this is, Northern California, the spotted bass. People always think of tube as smallmouth, smallmouth, smallmouth. I've caught 10-pounders at Clear Lake on this thing, little 3-inch tube. But how I'm going to fish this, I'm going to throw it out there and I'm going to drag this thing, just like you're dragging a jig. And one thing I found with throwing a tube, when you're dragging this across the bottom, really anything, a jig or anything, but a tube especially, you're dragging it, well the fish are going to kind of come up, usually the water's a little bit cooler, these times of the year, they're going to look at this thing and they might not, want to bite it. But I like to, what I call, pop the tube down there, and not a real hard pop, just dragging along, you're fishing maybe 30, 40 feet on a point, and just give it a little pop, pop your wrist just like that, not far. And what that's going to do, if a fish is looking at this thing, say it's coming up and it wants, to check out this tube, and then all of a sudden it pops and darts, and it's going to have a fall, they're going to jump on that. And you're actually getting a reaction strike on a soft bait, bottom bait. And can't tell you how many times I've done it, pump, pump, and they jump on it and bite it.
What weight do you normally fish on the ball head?
Depends, if I'm throwing the tube on the bank or something, I'm going to go to, anywhere from an 1/8 ounce to a 3/16. And then when I'm dragging it, I never go heavier than a 1/4 ounce. So, and again, this is a dart head spotted bass, not to try to complicate it, but the ball head, for largemouth and smallmouth.
How deep is that?
What's that?
How deep?
How deep will I fish this? The 1/4 ounce, how deep? Oh, I'll fish it. I can fish it down 70 feet if they're there. But this is just something people don't throw a lot. It's very finesse. You guys can see it if you want. And it's going to get you a lot of bites.
You're saying a ball head versus kind of teardrop shape tube made a difference?
Huge difference. A ball head, like I said, I was fishing that show. It's just the way it falls. You know, a tube head is gonna, if you guys have seen it, it's gonna do spirals like this. And a ball head is just gonna go straight down. It's not gonna spin, it's not gonna spiral, it's gonna be really like a dead stick technique, not a dead stick, but it's just no action. It's gonna come down, hit the bottom, and a lot of times it makes a huge difference throwing a tube.